Hey guys, Liquid Blitz here, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for playing hardcore effectively. Keep in mind that this video is for new players and people that find hardcore a bit too challenging and prefer to play regular core instead. Disclaimer! This is not for all you super skilled players out there, so keep the E-peen in the E-pants if these very basic tips are below you. And remember, yes, there are players out there who aren't as skilled, so just calm down. Anyway, let's get into it. The first tip I have for you is to avoid open areas, for the obvious reason that you're multiplying the chance of an enemy running up from the side or behind. Try and stay around the edges of a map, or generally places where you can only go in 2 directions, behind you and in front. A typical example of this is on Plaza, in the middle, where you can be seen from 4 different directions. And also on Hijacked, in the middle of the top deck, where you can be seen from, I think, 8 different directions. Left, right and centre on deck and both windows up top. These kinds of open places are bloodbaths on hardcore, and if you're none too skilled, you're just asking for a streak of deaths. Number 2. Aim round corners. On hardcore, the stock attachment, which allows faster strafing whilst you're aiming, is your best friend, and you should always equip it on assault rifles and LMGs. SMGs are usually fast enough on their own. This is the biggest flaw in most people's playstyle on hardcore. This tip is for all you quick draw lovers out there. Aiming whilst moving quickly around a corner or out of cover is faster than running around the corner and aiming with quick draw. There's no argument and no discussion about this. Stock beats quick draw on hardcore every time, because think about it. If you're already aiming as you move out of cover, as you see an enemy, your aim is already going to be on him, ready for you to fire instantly. Whereas running out of the cover and then seeing the enemy and then having to aim will be slower in every single situation. Anyway, even without stock, you should still aim round corners, since it's generally faster and will give you the jump on any enemy around the corner as long as he isn't doing the same, in which case you'll both have an even footing. Tip number 3. Only run when you need to. This isn't particularly concrete because it depends on the situation, but for the most part you should only run when you're 100% sure there isn't an enemy in front of you or around the next corner. If you run round a corner and there's an enemy looking at you who isn't running, he's going to have the jump on you since he can instantly hipfire, or instantly destroy you if he's already aiming. The moral here is don't run round corners. Only run when you know for a fact that no one's immediately ahead of you, or when moving from cover to cover and have to move as fast as possible. Number 4. Equip Ghost at all times on every class you plan to use on hardcore. If you haven't already unlocked it, make sure to use a permanent unlock on it when you prestige, so you never have to reach 55 again to unlock it. Ghost should be the first thing you unlock with one of these permanent unlock tokens, and it doesn't really need much explanation. Ghost hides you from radar whilst moving, and on hardcore particularly, if the enemy has a UAV up and someone's tracking you down, if they have any skill at all, you don't stand much of a chance without Ghost on. Unless you have a UAV up as well, then it's an even playing field. As a side whatchamacallit of this tip, try and use either Dead Silence or Awareness, or even both whilst playing hardcore. Generally speaking, Dead Silence protects you and Awareness exposes the enemy, so they'll provide a shit ton of help when you're trying to be stealthy. The final tip is to be smart with your weapon, by which I mean keeping in mind that this isn't for skilled hardcore players. Don't run around with a sniper rifle or shotgun. As a hardcore novice, you should only be using an SMG or an assault rifle, since they're both agile and provide a fast fire rate. Remember, on hardcore the damage is enormous, so you don't need to worry much about the damage stat of the weapons. Try and also use a suppressor, since its benefits are twofold. Obviously it makes it quieter, but it also helps to hide the direction you're firing from, giving you all around much more stealth. That pretty much covers all the basics for someone who's new to hardcore. You can follow all of these tips quite easily, but the one that people always forget about is tip number 2. When I spectate most players these days, most of them just walk around corners without a care in the world and only aim when they see an enemy. So remember, don't be a fool, wrap your tool, and also aim before you go around a corner. I know most of the stuff here is basic, but it's amazing how many people think they're above these kinds of tips, or just forget about them, and these are the kinds of things that will seriously lower the number of avoidable facepalm deaths you get. So keep all this stuff in mind. Like this video if you liked it, like this video if you didn't like it, and subscribe for more tips and breakdowns. And remember kids, don't be a fool, stay in school.